the screw doesn't look quite as evident anymore because they have like the rhinestones up and below it, above and below it. Okay. All right, so I'll just go through how this is done. All right, so you're starting with a a thick lens edge. This is for a rimless a drill mount frame. Okay. If you end up doing it on a frame that you're going to mount into a frame, like a rimmed frame or semi-rimless, which requires that on roof, make sure you put that into the lens before you start doing the fastening. If you do it in the opposite order, if you fasten first and then try to put it back into the edger and then put the edge on, you may not, sometimes won't work. So you want to make sure you have everything you need on the lens that ready to for it to be mounted into the frame, and then do work on it. Alright, so just edging, alright, grinding wheel. Alright, so they just started, and that's one facet, right? The temporal edge facet's been done. Now they're doing the corner. And so they'll first do, kind of get the right positions, alright, so that's just a very small corner facet. They go, okay, it's the right position, and they'll do more. Alright, so a bit more. Everything has to be done in increments. When you apply a bit of water and treat mold on this, then it's a bit better, so the lens doesn't get too hot. Alright, so now you're starting to see how the lens is we've got facets on 3 sides now. It's coming out. Alright, and now they're going to the real, the temporal edge to really narrow it down now. And then the corner edge as well. Okay, so here's the lens. And then I guess they decide they want to buff the edge a little bit. Okay. Alright, so just a few images. Alright, so at this point, this lens is pretty much, the grinding is basically finished. Okay, so you can see the facets are, there's the 3 of them. Alright, so there we are. Okay, the next step, if you want, alright, obviously you can polish. Alright, so when you polish, just, you can polish, you don't have to polish it all. I'll show you later, there's what I call half-polished lenses, where they polish some of the edges but not all of them. Now it's polishing the corner facet. Just kind of step by step. I'm a picture guy, I guess you can tell. I write a lot of these articles into Optician magazine in the UK. Just because of page constraints, everything has to be done in 12 pictures or less. So you can tell. Sometimes that's a challenge. So again, just polishing. In this case, they're polishing every surface of the lens. Okay, so then this is the fun part. Okay, so this is again, there's no edge, there's no bevel, there's no groove, so this is something that would fit, this type of lens would be something that would fit this type of rimless frame. Okay, here's an example of that. Okay, so here's an example of unpolished and a small facet, very small amount. If you guys look really closely, you'll see it's just a little back corner there, along there and along there, there's a facet. And there's actually, they facet the front edge too. Okay. If you look down there, there's like a little triangle that's showing, you know, the edge, and then it jets in, so that's where the facet occurred. Okay, that one too. I'll take different camera angles. Go forward a little bit here. Okay, let me show you the front. I don't know if the contrast will show it to you, but there is just the front edge as well. They just brought in just a touch as well. Okay, and this one wasn't very evident. Like, you don't see the big, you know, swooping line here from like the earlier examples. Just a little touch up. It's not really evident at all, but it does still narrow that lens edge thickness. Okay, it's from the back. Alright, so that's a non-polished lens, an unpolished lens. Okay. This is what I would call a semi-polished lens. So they polish some of the surface, but not all of them. So the surface they polish is just, you know, the faceted edge, but the actual lens edge they leave unpolished. Okay, that's a better image. Okay, so that's that angle there, and then it's polished, but then the lens edge is untouched. And if you look, they actually polish that front edge too. You know, when you, after putting it through the edger, you have to run the, you know, along the edges to like soften the edge so it's not as sharp. They polish that. So you've got front and back there polished. Okay, that shows you the front surface. Very tiny facet, I suppose, which is polishing this. So again, the lens edge thickness, you know, it's reduced. Okay, it's better than it was. The amount of faceting you want to do is obviously depends on the prescription, the type of look you want. Okay, sometimes you'll get a sense of what works. For generally smaller eyes, you don't want a facet you don't want that facet too big. It'll kind of, it really encloses around the eye and looks a bit odd. And you know, just looking at that, you see the you know, the sharp edge there. It just gives that lens a little bit more detail. It kind of makes it a bit more like upscale. You know, it looks just a bit upscale. Right. And so this is a really harmonized lens. And I was wondering, how can I demonstrate that to you? You know, so you know, look inside the prismatic effect. I'm thinking, okay, well, you've got, you know, the edge of that there, and it's actually over here, so it moved in. Right? But you want something, if the OC is there, you want to go as far away from the OC to get the most prismatic effect. So if you look right at this corner, you've got the edge of the window, right, out there. Well, this is the edge of it's not even in this image, it's like off here, and it's like brought in. So this is really, really harmonious.